Hello everyone, my name is Jen and welcome to the Book Refuge and welcome to a TBR-ish video of sorts, or also known as my anticipated reads of the first quarter of 2023. So I did name this like anticipated books of 2023, but this is only going to cover January, February, and March for two reasons. One, because this list could change and move anyway. That happens with indie books. And also, being an indie book lover, there are things that get changed all the time. So there can be a book that just pops up that comes out 2 weeks after it's announced. So there's going to be a lot of, you know, traditionally published and also books that are like definitely well set. But already, like, some of the books that are in my anticipated for the first quarter of the year were already like part of my 2022 anticipated books because they keep getting moved around. It's just something that happens. So also one other caveat to put, these are books that like I'm excited for and that I remembered and was able to put. So every time I make one of these, I literally remember some books. Like as soon as I start editing the video, I'm like, Jen, you forgot this and you forgot this, and then I feel stupid. So let's not point any of those out. But if there's one that I haven't listed that you're excited for, please put that down below because maybe some other people would be interested in it as well. But otherwise, we're gonna get started, and I roughly have these going January to March, but there was some that I added at the end that I forgot about or whatever. So I'm just going to list them, show you the cover if they have it, and then you can go put that on your Goodreads can't wait to read list. If you don't know, that actually really helps authors if you put it on your want to read list, because it helps them like rank higher on Goodreads and like show up as a suggested book. So definitely do that. That's something, you know, if you ever sign up for ARCs for a book, they'll ask you, have you put this on your want to read shelf? And that's why they do that, because it helps the authors start to like rank and everything. So anyway, let's go through these. This should be a pretty quick video because there wasn't a ton of like backstory. I don't have the blurbs for each of these up. This is, like I said, this is more going to be a kind of like listing and sharing video just to get them out there for you and everything. Okay, here we go. So we have The Duke Gets Even by Joanna Shupe. This is one that I was so lucky to get an ARC of, and I'm actually pretty excited to read. I've read 2 of the books in this series. This is the 4th one, and I really enjoyed the 3rd one, which I know a lot of people loved. The Bride Goes Rogue. I read that one in October, I think, and I really liked it, which was great because Joanna Shupe has been kind of a 50-50 if I'll love the book or not, but a lot of my friends just adore her books, so I want to like them as well. I'm that type of person that if there's an author that everyone else loves, like I do want to love the author. You know what I mean? I want it to happen. But yeah, this one we finally get a read about the Duke, and I'm very excited for the hero and heroine in this one, and I've been making myself wait to read it because I didn't want to read it too early, but we're getting closer because I'm pretty sure this one's in January. So once I finish my ARCs for December, I feel like I'll be able to dive into that one. Then we have Filthy Lies and Filthy Truth by Serena Ackroyd. And see, this is one that these were supposed to come out in December. They got pushed. I'm not throwing any shade, but I'm kind of throwing some shade that I don't think there's been a release date that Serena Ackroyd has hit in quite a while. Okay, like, again, I'm just saying it. There like hasn't been a release of hers that's come out the first release date it has, and like I know she can't control that. I just kind of wish that she would set more realistic goals for herself instead of getting people hyped for things and then changing them, because again, it's one thing if that happens sometimes, because I am very sympathetic as someone who is friends with authors and knows how hard their deadlines are to meet and how much they don't want to move books. But I also think that at some point, especially when you're an author who's like the size that Serena Ackroyd is, she has a extensive backlist. She has many series, many people who love her. You can spread your books out a little more. Like, yeah, not everyone's happy about that, but I'd be more happy than if you move it all the time. You know what I mean? Like, think of if, you know, Anastasia last year moved from July to December, right? Think of how more like fed up we would be if it had went from July to August to November, November to December. Like how many times you get your hopes up and then just to get that email that your pre-order has been delayed, like you'd be really sad about it, right? Anyway, but Filthy Lies and Filthy Truth are supposedly gonna be the last two like official books in the series, even though she has like Filthy Disciple is supposed to come out and there's other spin-offs, and she'll probably write this forever and ever. But this will be about Connor and is it Sky? Dude, I can't even remember her name at this point. But this is going to be their romance that we've been hinted at for all this time, and it's going to be a duet. So I will read these, and then I will see what else I want to read by Serena Ackroyd ever, because it makes me sad, but I've just kind of fallen out of love with how connected all of her books are. I think at some point you gotta cut it and start something new. Maniac by Onley James. This will be the last book in the Necessary Evil series, but I know that Onley James does have a spin-off series planned that's going to be called Jericho's Boys, which will be about Jericho. He was he has like a group of misfits that are all who he looks after, and there's supposed to be a spin-off about them. And this one will be Aiden and Thomas. And now I haven't read the last two books in this series, like books 5 and 6, because I want to read Maniac, and all of the teasing leading to this, which I understand it's great teasing. It's been great teasing, and that's how you build a series, but boy, am I ready to read it. And so my plan is when Maniac is getting ready to come out to binge all of those like at once, so that I can read 5 and 6 and then read 7 right away, so I don't have to wait anymore. So that's why you haven't seen me talk about books 5 and 6 in this series, is because I'm waiting very patiently for Maniac, and then I'll read them all. Radiant Sin by Katie Roberts. I just got my ARC approved for this one as well. So happy about that. This book is book 4 in her Dark Olympus series. Now, I've shared on here how I'm not really reading Katie Roberts' other books right now. I've just fallen out of love with those. But the Dark Olympus series is a series I will continue. She's really sold me on the others, like Neon Gods was a 6-star book for me. I really liked Electric Idol. I really liked Wicked. I just forgot what it's called, but I liked the third one. That was a Menage. And I'm excited for Radiant Sin as well. So yeah, and I just got my ARC approved, so can't wait. Then we have Powerless by Elsie Silver. I don't know who's not excited for this one. This one's going to be book 3 in her... This one is Chestnut Springs, the book after Heartless. This one is supposed to be about the hockey player, I believe, and someone else. I don't even know. I didn't really read the blurb for this. I don't care. I'm now an Elsie Silver stan, and I haven't even read all of her books. But you write me a book like Heartless, and I'm going to read the next book that comes after it. So we'll be reading this. And if I can make it happen, we'll hopefully have the author of this book maybe coming by. We'll see. I'm trying my best, everybody. The Counterfeit Scoundrel by Lorraine Heath. This is one I was also lucky enough to get an ARC for, so I'll be reading this, and I believe that Rake Appreciation Society is going to do this. We're going to do it for whichever month this comes out. We're going to do it for the month after, so people have plenty of time to get it and read it. But this is going to be the start of her new trilogy, which is the Chessmen trilogy, I think is what it's going to be called, and it will spin off from her previous series. All of her books pretty much take place in the same world. Like, I've read a lot of her backlog at this point, or her backlist, and they as well merge well with it and everything. So this one might be a surprise because I don't talk about this author much at all. I haven't read a lot of her books, but I want to read The Phantom by Gina Showalter. I did ask for an ARC for this one. We'll see if I get it. But I've actually read, this is book 3 in her series that is about there was the Warlord, the Immortal, and then this one is the Phantom, and it's about these group of guys who have to complete these tasks so that they have the strongest powers, and if they don't, then they get punished until the next one. And yeah, that's a very loose explanation, but I really enjoyed the audiobooks for the first two, and I've been awaiting this book. But I don't read anything else by Gina Showalter currently. Yes, I've had many of her books recommended to me. I actually own quite a few of them, but the series that I've tried and liked has been this newest one, because when I saw she had a new series starting, I was like, oh, maybe this is a good time to try her and start with something new. But I'm pretty sure this spins off of some other stuff. People have told me that. And at some point I'll go back. I will. But for now, I'm excited for The Phantom. The Chaperone by Noelle Adams. This is going to be the next book in Noelle Adams, aka Claire Kent, in her series about this agency that provides companions for people. So it's not supposed to be sexual companions, but they will provide like a fake date for you. In this case, it's a chaperone who's being provided. They also do, you know, like tour guides for areas. Like you can literally rent a companion for whatever your needs are, except sexual, which isn't supposed to be a part of it at all. And so this one, I think the heroine is supposed to be a chaperone for the hero's daughter, I want to say. It's been a while, but I'm on Noelle Adams' ARC team, so I'm excited to read that one. Settled Scores by Adelaide Forrest. So this is another one that I have no idea when the release date will be. This book has moved a lot. Adelaide has had a lot happen. If you follow her Instagram or her newsletter, she's had a lot happen in her life, and also her fantasy books under the name Harper something took off a lot more than her dark romance, so they've kind of got pushed. So both Settled Scores and also the follow-up to, where'd I put that book? I don't know where it is, but the next book in like the Dreams duet, like those have really gotten pushed because she had really hard deadlines she had to hit for the other series, and these ones just kept getting pushed. So I am very impatiently waiting for Settled Scores. I want it so bad. And I also want that other book in the Dreams duet, the first one, Deadly Dreams or Dreams of the Deadly. Like, I loved that so much. And I haven't read her fantasy ones yet. I do own the first one. But I'm kind of impatiently waiting for those, you know? I want it. Another one that's been moved, I mean, I have a bunch of these that have all been moved around a lot, like I said. Cruelly Bitten by Lexi C. Foss. Also, another 6th book in a series that we're waiting for. This one is going to, or is this the 7th one? 6th or 7th? I don't know. But this one is finally going to be about Cam and his mate, and he's had his memory wiped. By our baddie in the story, and so he doesn't remember his love anymore. And so yeah, all the emotions I felt at the end of Kingly Bitten for what that bitch is doing to this couple, like, but whenever Lexi C. Foss puts this book out, I will read it. I just don't know when that will be, because I know in her newsletter a lot of it is that it just wasn't coming out right, and she doesn't want to put out the last book in this series if it's not right, and I can definitely respect that. I appreciate that that commitment to craft and that she's trying so hard for us. I would just like it to happen so that I can have it. So yeah. Arcana by Runex. I don't think we have a release date for this one. This is one that, again, the author had a loss in her family, or illness in the family. I think it was a loss in the family, and so she was like, I can't be present for the release of this book right now. Like, I can't be present, and so we're going to postpone it. And again, full respect for that. But I hope that it comes out the first quarter of the year. And this one, it's going to take place at the same place that Gothicana took place, but it's a historical Gothic romance, which I think that's brilliant. Okay, I think it's brilliant. Let's go. Mama's here for it. Let's go. Whenever that comes out, I'll read. The Portrait of a Duchess by Scarlett Peckham. This is another one I got an ARC for. Now, I haven't read the Ray Hess yet. I plan to read the Ray Hess actually as a part of a video that I do next year. But I got an ARC of this one, and I really want to read it. I've only read 2 books by Scarlett Peckham. It's not The Duke and I, but it's the one with like the Duke is like submissive. And then I read whatever. I read the first 2 books in that series. It's been a while, and I enjoyed those quite a bit. And then I want to read The Rakes because it's one of Crystal's favorite books. And so I asked for The Portrait of a Duchess to kind of push me to do it, because the way that I feel about angsty historicals has changed a bit over the last 2 years. And when I first was like hearing a lot about The Rakes and like its angst level and what it was about, I didn't know if I would like it. But like my taste has evolved, and so I want to try it. I've heard good and bad and indifferent, but mostly I've heard good, and so I want to give it a go. So I'm gonna. Mafia Target by Mila Finelli. This is going to be book 4 in the series, and I'm so excited that she decided to do this. I did not know if she would. This is going to be an Mafia romance in the middle of a series, and not to be like, I think that's brave, but I do think it's risky, because you have people that they don't want to read and that's totally fine, whether they just aren't comfortable with it or they don't like it. I think we agree no one should ever have to read like a scenario they don't want to. But I'm very excited for this because in Mafia Mistress and Mafia Darling, we get introduced to Fausto's son, and we really grow to care for him so much. And he is the one who is engaged to Francesca in the beginning, and he shares with, like, she discovers that he's gay. And she's like, I'm not going to force you into a marriage with me. And he's like, yeah, but you honestly could keep me safe if you did. And at the same time, she's like, so you would have to live a lie and I would have to live a lie forever if we did that. And I don't think that's right. And I really love the steps that Frankie takes and the stands that she takes looking out for him. And so the thing is, though, is Fausto makes some stands about what he's not going to accept in relationship to his son, what won't be allowed to happen to his son. And it appears that for book 4, some people don't agree. So he will get made the target of a mafia. So, and I think the romance is supposed to be between him and the man who's sent to kill him. So like the hitman and him, I think. And I'm excited. It's going to be great. French Kiss by Lydia Michaels. So this is going to be the next book in the Jasper Falls series. So I really love McCullough Mountain and Jasper Falls. I actually read Jasper Falls before I read McCullough Mountain, and they're just my like joyful books. Like they're usually like they have angst in them, but it's like it's small town angst, and I find them really beautiful and comforting books. Like they're very comforting to me. And so this is going to be the next one in that series. I don't even know who it's about, but it's coming out in February or March, and I'm ready to read it. And then the last one that I want to mention, again, these are the ones that I'm excited for, that I have on my list. I'm sure there's ones I forgot. I'm sure there's ones that weren't announced yet, but I'm excited for Hyacinth by Minerva Spencer. So this is going to be the next book in her Bellamy Sisters series, which I read the first one last summer, and that was about Phoebe. And now Phoebe has not gotten the love that it deserves. I adore Phoebe, and I'm ready to read Hyacinth, which will be about one of the other sisters, which is going to be great. These sisters really reminded me of like the Bennett sisters, but these books are obviously sexier and fun. But the first one felt kind of like a mix between like North and South and Pride and Prejudice and a little bit of Jane Eyre. Like, of course, I'm using all the most famous novels as an example, but that's what you do, right? That's what you do. So anyway, these are the books that I'm excited for in the first quarter of 2023. Again, I'm sure I missed a whole boatload, so I'd love to hear the ones that you're excited for. It is really hard to look up books if you don't know that there's a new one coming, because on Goodreads, there's a tab where you can go to upcoming releases. But if you've never liked a book before or read one before, sometimes they don't show up. Sometimes an author hasn't made a Goodreads for them yet, so then they don't show up. And so you miss out on a lot of things. And so I tried to go through Amazon and Goodreads and find this. And then again, ones that I'm like honestly really excited for. So we'll see what happens. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. It means so much to me that you check this out. Please like this video, interact with it, comment. I'm trying not to let the YouTube algorithm drown me, so any interaction you have will be very helpful to me. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.